two sessions actually, because the first session is independent, that is what it means to become the path. It will be presented by K. Adhikeshava Shastri. He is a national lecturer and belongs to the Karnataka Federation. And formally to introduce him, he is a well-known speaker in Karnataka, and he joined the Theosophical Society at the age of 6. It will be a surprise for all of you because of his grandfather. Now he has a degree in bachelor's degree in electrical and electronics and an MBA marketing, and also that he is a MA in Sanskrit literature, and he is a software consultant, and as said, he is a well-known corporate personality, and he is a member since the age of 6. So I invite Brother Adhikeshava Shastri to deliver this.
अखंड मंडलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Bowing in front of all the Jivan Mukta Mahatmas who have been instrumental in providing us guidance to the path towards liberty. So, good evening one and all, dear brothers and sisters. I am Adhikeshava Shastri from Karnataka Federation. I belong to Krishna Theosophical Lodge, Davangere. So, without wasting much time, let's start our session. We have the reference books, and these reference books, we have in this taken 5 reference books. Other than that, I have taken references of Rishi Vemana, Narayana Guruji, Allama Prabhu, and Ramana Maharshigal. And there are also certain hints from Madame Blavatsky's Secret Doctrine and Leadbeater's The Man Visible and Invisible. So, in the beginning, we'll just see all the things about the path. So, we have 3 paths, let's say. The first one is the path which is already travelled. This is called known path. Whether physical sciences or the transcendental sciences, we know the path that we have already travelled till now. Next thing is the path which has to be travelled, and this is an unknown path, and we are more curious, and it is not curiosity that we are behind this. What is that unknown path that has to be travelled by a man? And lastly, we will also discuss about something called the travel. The path known and unknown, and the travel, that is freedom from the known. So these, let me call it as an index of what all we are studying today. So the first one is the path which is already travelled. Let me tell you, known path. And this known path, before becoming the path, we need to know the past journey of ours. What is that past journey? The known path can be explained in 2 ways. The first one is the physical sciences that we already know, like the theory of evolution, the Big Bang theory, etc., etc. And the other one is the transcendental science, the theosophical science of the known path of man, that is all of us. So, the known path, first we will study the physical science. What does the physical science say about the known path of the man? the known path of the man can be explained in physical sense by something which again is not clear. The science says there was a primordial state which was full of energy. It was full pure form of energy, and it was an all pervasive entity. It did not expose. Everything was included in that sort. And this primordial state, or it is called as primordial matter, had a frequency, a vibration which could not be, or which cannot be measured by the physical instruments that exist today. The vibration was so vibrant, it was some kind of, it becomes illogical. You cannot think of that vibration. And this primordial matter entered a state called Big Bang. Again, Vedas say, the Rig Veda says Nasadiya Sukta, and I will not go in detail of that Nasadiya Sukta. There was a Big Bang where that pure form of energy, that pure energy state, it started to gain mass. You can see, this is called the stage of involution. In theosophy, we study that. That primordial energy, it came down to such an extent where from pure form of this energy, it entered a stage where that energy started governed by the mass. Kindly understand this. There is a pure state of energy. Now the same energy, it exists, but some part of it is manifested into mass, and this energy now is governed by this mass. So this is the second stage, where you can easily see the frequency, the vibration, it started decreasing. So the frequency reduced, it became slow, it became measurable, and there was something called a stable state according to the physical science, and from where the mineral world started. So there are a lot of intermediate stops there, which I will not go in detail because of the lack of time that we have. Okay, when this involution took place, there was a secondary manifestation of this involution, and it was known as evolution. This evolution, it has a character that mass, now it is being governed by the energy. There, that mass controlled the energy. Now, this energy, it starts controlling the mass now. That is why there was evolution. Because from the mineral state to being the man, there are several stages. So that mass started, it started being governed by the energy hidden inside that mass, and that is the evolution. So the total, that governance, that that governs the evolution. Next important aspect is, so when this evolution started, that it started from minerals, which was the lowest energy activity. Now there came something called viruses, wherein which the viruses, they are not living, because they are the boundary line between the living and non-living. For example, a virus can be in a powder form and it can live forever, but only when it gets a host, it gets activated. So, the energy activation inside the host. In minerals, there was no activation of energy. It was a bit stable. Then, from there, something emerged as plants, and these plants, they started the absorption of external energy. So, they started building up, they started evolution by taking the energy from the sun and other inorganic as well as organic material. After plants, there was the development of animals where the mass, now it started getting converted into energy. Because we animals, whatever the mass, even the food we intake, it's the mass, we convert it into energy. Whereas plants, they generate energy and store it in the form of mass using some other energy, like the solar energy or the photosynthetic effect and all these things. Let's not go very detailed into that. So, this was the procedure that happened in the evolution, and finally we have something called as man. Even man, we start conversion, we convert the mass into the form of energy, and the conscious level, it starts from minerals and it goes on increasing, and we have the highest consciousness in man. So, this is the physical science that explains the total evolution, both involuntary as well as the evolutionary procedures that take place. So, this is what pure science. Now, let's ask ourselves, what next? What happens from man? Where are we going? For that, okay, before that we will have this transcendental science, because that's the unknown. From now, there is evolutionary man, and after man, what is there? The physical science cannot give an answer. But let's see our journey in terms of the transcendental sciences, where theosophy, it explains both the form, the known and the unknown path, methodically and with a great clarity. And that clarity can be obtained by three great outpourings. Our journey is based on three outpourings that happen. And these three outpourings, they start from three aspects of the logos, solar logos, and from these solar logos, everything gets manifested. The manifestation of life starts from these logos with the help of three pourings. And these three pourings, the highest aspect is the first aspect, which is represented by a central dot. You can see that central dot there. So, this is represented, this is a pictorial representation, so that we can visually see how exactly it works. Okay? So, the first, the outpouring will start and again we have the second aspect. Okay? And this is represented by a circle which is divided into half by a diameter, and this represents dual manifestation. The third one, which is represented by a Greek cross. So, this is the lowest one. This can also be compared with the Trinity or the Trimurti of Hindu literature. Both the Trimurti and Trinity, these are the three aspects. So, the outpourings start from these three, and basically these three aspects, these are the manifestation of the logos and has an special part to play in the preparation and development of the soul of the man. So our journey has started from these three aspects of the logos. Next important thing is, we will see the initial path or the first outpouring. This is also something, building up of solar systems and all these things. The first outpouring, the process of this manifestation involves downward movement of the purest form of energy onto different planes. There are 7 different planes. Let me not go very deep into that. So from Adi plane to physical plane, we have several planes, and this manifestation, the manifestation of energy into matter and matter into energy, starts with downpouring of that energy through all these 7 planes, and it comes first from the universal mind, which is the third aspect. Okay, so the first outpouring, you can see I have animated it there. The first pouring is responsible for the development of differentiated matter necessary for the new system, preparing. So the third aspect prepares the involutionary as well as the evolutionary aspect of manifestation, and the outpouring which comes first time is from that principle of our logos, which corresponds to the mind in the man, though of course it is on an infinitely higher plane. It is in the higher plane, but that manifestation relates to our mind. Next, so this is also called as Mahat. Look at that. The outpouring, it does not create matter, but it takes the previously existent homogeneous matter of each future 7 planes and differentiates it, thus forming the 7 subplanes with each plane. There are 7 subplanes and all these things. That can be studied later, or you might have studied that also in our theosophy. So the outpouring, as you can see, while getting downwards, it becomes thicker and thicker. The matter becomes thicker and thicker, and the energy, the manifestation from a pure form now comes into a mass form. The first outpouring, okay, it produces the different elements, but no higher structures are developed yet. It makes bed for the development. This mighty process of atomic evolution, which interpenetrates all else and it moves on its way absolutely independent of all conditions. This is, that's what, it is completely, it is like the elephant walking up on the road. Nothing, it is moving on its own. So this is carried steadily by the wonderful impulse, that first outpouring from the third aspect of the logos. Now let's consider the second path, which is called as involution. Earlier we saw how the involution took place from purest form of energy to the mass. Okay, so this is called as the second pouring. Once everything is set up, the second stream of divine life, it commences its work by plunging into the depths of the matter. It starts. So in this course of evolution, the second great outpouring of divine life descends from the second logos into the matter, which is already vivified by the third logos. So the stage is set, and now there will be a manifestation, the outpouring from the second aspect. And as you can see, This is called the second outpouring that happens from the second aspect. This resistless flood pours down through various planes and kingdoms, spending each of them a period equal in duration to the entire incarnation of a planetary chain. It does not happen immediately. It doesn't happen soon. It takes its own sweet time, and the time is in millions of years. Now, this starts from the second aspect, sweeps down gradually, and you can see in the animation it is getting darker and darker when it is coming down. It becomes thicker and thicker, and when it reaches the nadir, that is the lowest point is called as nadir. So, when it reaches the nadir, it becomes the darkest. So, now the energy is being controlled. I should not say it as controlled, but yes, the mass, it actually holds energy, because mass and energy are same. They are interconnected. That is what E is equal to mc squared, the Einstein's rule says, or the relativity. Energy and mass are related. Without mass there is no energy, and without energy there is no mass. Okay. And from this point, the nadir point, the evolution starts. So, in the second outpouring, we can see both the involution and the evolution part as explained by the physical sciences. In this evolution, after passing that point, it commences its upwards arc and rises through the physical, astral and lower mental planes until it meets the third great outpouring. So, this outpouring, it ends at the lower mental planes, and the third outpouring will start. So, this monadic essence begins the grand upward sweep of evolution towards divinity. From here it starts. The astral and the lower mental plane, we get emotions, we get everything, we become man. And at this point, this objective of this monadic essence is to develop the consciousness in each of these grades of matters, in turn beginning of course with the lowest. From the lowest, so it starts manifesting it. This is what the unknown one, the known one. Now, we will consider the path which is to be travelled, which is unknown. And again, we will have this perspective of physical sciences. What do they say? Physical science says there was pure state of energy, there was a state when the energy governed the mass, and there was a stage when mass started governing, being governed by the energy, and there is something called, now energy has to be governed by the energy. That has to happen. If not, if it does not circle around, there is nothing. So, it has to circle around. So, the energy now has to be governed by some kind of energy. That is, there is no mass, then the mass goes on decreasing, and from there, that once it happens, it has to merge itself to become the pure state of energy once again. This is called as one kalpa, sometimes one moment of the Brahman, a day of Brahman it is called as, whatever you can call it. And this whole part, this is the unknown part even to the physical sciences. Physical scientists, they say, yes, we can do it. We can give a hypothesis about what could happen, but they are not sure about that. So, now with the transcendental perspective, we can see the unknown path, which is from the third outpouring, the last outpouring of divine entity, which accomplishes the transformation of animal into a human, comes from the highest aspect of the logos, and that logos, it comes from the first logos, and this third outpouring, it does not descend like the second outpouring. It does not descend until here to the physical world. It acts only on the individuals that have reached the necessary evolutionary development. It starts from here and again on the mental plane, the higher mental plane. So, it is not a general one. I am here, let's say I am here. If I can feel the energy, if I can grasp the vibration, the frequency of the third outpouring, then only I can start going up. So that is the aspect. So we should be like, receivers. We should start receiving the frequencies. And once the frequency is tuned with the universal frequency, our journey, upward journey starts. Okay. So it is like unlike other aspects, it is more individualistic, and you can see. Let me, okay, we have 6 more minutes. When that happens, this third outpouring leaps down from the Buddhic plane to meet, and in the higher mental plane, a world is formed, an ego. That is the permanent individuality. Let's not go much deeper into that. So we want to only, because my highlight is only show you the paths, that's all. You can see there was a darkening of the manifestation process, but here there is no darkening. It will be in the form of clouds and all these things. Okay, so the link between these two is formed by a triangle in a circle. You can see there is a triangle in a circle which represents the individual soul of man, that is the reincarnating ego, and the triangle, that is the higher triad, is contributed by the third outpouring, and the circle, the casual body, by the second. So this marks the birth of the individual human monad, which is immortal. So this is how, these are the paths. Now, the travel. When we see the travel, I remember Mabel Collins' Light on the Path. Before the eyes can see, they must be incapable of tears. Before the ear can hear, it must have lost all its sensitiveness. Before the voice can speak in presence of the master, it must have lost the power to wound. And before the soul can stand in presence of the master, its feet must be washed in the blood of the heart. So this is from the Light on the Path. And there is a beautiful this thing also. So how to go about it? There is one shloka, especially in the Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, the last adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja ahantva sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchah. Abandon all varieties of dharmas and simply surrender unto me. Here, when we read Bhagavad Gita, this me, we equalize with Krishna. It is not Krishna. It is me. Surrender yourself to me. That is, that you want to know exactly what you are. And that me only shall liberate me from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. This is what? Because this can be contemplated by the next shloka. amongst my devotees, that is, who are pursuing study on their own, those who learn this most confidential knowledge perform the greatest act of love. They will come to me without doubt. Yes, if I start knowing about myself, that is what exactly we Theosophists do, then this me will be merged with that me. This is the 68th sloka. Not only that, look at Vemana Shatakamu. He says, Brahma Padartham Marekkado ledu. తానే బ్రహ్మమని బట్టబెలుగా తెలుసుకోవాలి, తన్ను తాను తెలుసుకున్నవాడే బ్రహ్మం. దట్స్ వాట్ హీ సేస్. ది ఎంటిటీ, ద బ్రహ్మ, it is not elsewhere. We should learn completely that I am the Brahman, and the man who learns about himself is Brahma. This is what Vemana, Maharshi Vemana has put it in his Vemana Shatakamalu. And yes, we have Ramana Maharshigal in his Ulladu Narpadu. What is divide of knowledge and ignorance is actually knowledge. That which knows is not real knowledge, since one shines without another for knowing or causing to know. Oneself is knowledge. One is not void. No? That's what Ramana Maharshigal says. Not only that, the Narayana Guru, in his Atmopadesha Shatakam, he says, that primordial potency that herein resides is the seed that gives birth to all here we see. Merging the mind in that, never forgetting, Maya mind to end, ever do completion to pursue. So, every individual who is great, who has learned, he has started. Sir, one more minute. I am finishing. Only last slide is remaining. Okay? This is about Narayana Guru. Look at the Sharana Sahitya. Allama Prabhu, the Guru of Basavanna. He says, Tumbi Parimalavanundito, Parimala Tumbiyanundito, Linga Pranavaito, Prana Lingavaito, Guheshwara, Ubhayada Bedavanine Balle. Guheshwara is his pen name. Whether honey bee drinks the nectar or vice versa, whether the linga, that is the logos, becomes the Atman or vice versa, Guheshwara, you only know the secret of this duality. So everything starts, the path, the entering of the path will start from rejecting the duality and accepting that unity. So, exactly, I have taken 20 seconds more. I thank you very much for the opportunity given. Thank you very much.